Hi, this is Frank, and here I'll be putting this scene together for the new mini-series, the City Rott Pug. And this scene here, I have the pug following this character here through the city. And right now everything's sort of peaceful. There's no danger in the immediate area, so they're just wandering through the city right now trying to get to their goal. So right now I have to sort this out, and I have to pull up the actions. I pre-animated all these characters, but now I have to actually put it all together in the animation. So the first thing I'll do is get the walk cycle for this character here, and let me take a look here. That will loop back to that, so I think I'll just bring it right back to 0, do a cycle, and just like that. And now I have to test it. So one quick way I could test is zoom in really quick, and now I'll just see how this looks for just the motion of it. So there's the hop, and I don't see any issues with the hop, so that looks okay. And next thing I'll do is get the pug out there, but before I do that, let me set up now that I have the walk cycle in motion and looped, I'll just set the first keyframe, and I'll do a linear for that, so it's just like a constant walk, no slowdown or build up. And I'll say this scene will be maybe let's say, I could say 20 seconds at the most. So let me go like this, pull that character all the way there. Looks like there's a problem with the side there. The character goes through the side. That's weird. Looks like I need to refine that. Pull that a little closer. So rather than worry about that right now, let me set that to linear. Now let's take a look and see how that's working out with the motion. There's a lot of it's not like a constant hop, so it looks like the rabbit's sliding. But let me just press play, and alright, I think that'll work. I'll see how it looks in the final test animation. But this is the making of process, where I put all these pieces together and animate it. So now I have the pug, and the pug is the star of the little series building up to the release of City Rott Otherworld. This actually, I really don't like to do prequels, but this takes place right before City Rott Otherworld. So this is the pug's life before the pug appears in that film. So now I have to do the walk cycle for the pug, and I have that already pre-animated. In other words, I set all these up individually, animated them separately, and then I have these as a reference. I could just return right back to them. So now I have to insert the animation there with that button, and now that that's installed into the scene, I have to remember frame 24 to 1. Let me just close that off and just take a look here. I'll zoom in a little so I can see what's happening with the the legs. Now if I just go to a full cycle here, I don't know if this is going to be right. Let me see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay. So let me zoom in a little there. That looks a little better. Yeah, I think that's better. Is there a delay right here? It seems pretty good. I don't have too much of a concern about that. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so it looks like it's animated properly with the cycle. Sometimes you'll go through the loop cycle and it just won't be quite where it should be. Now this layer here looks like this is a little bit of an issue here. For that, you can see there's a little overlap. So one quick solution I'm thinking of is if I go like that, but look, that pushes back on both of them, so that's not going to help. Maybe actually shrink it instead. That'll solve some of it, but then it doesn't solve the other side. So there is a solution I just thought of. Rather than just have one layer, duplicate that, and for the layer that's messed up here where the rabbit, as you can see, is cutting through the frame. So I think I stopped it on 480. Let me set that to 480. And looking at this piece here, there it is. There's the scene. See how the rabbit looks like it's cutting in front of the building? That's not right. So I have to make sure that that's flush against the side there. I don't know how that happened. So what I'll do is, now that I have that duplicate piece, let me just shift this over a little bit. We'll see what happens back there. So I'll just leave that there. Let me move this back here. That creates a weird effect there, but it's not too bad. Now I'll just double check it and see how that panned out. Yeah, that does fix the problem on the left side. And the right side, that'll be fine too. It's just a matter of this double image. So there's one other possible solution, and that's to zoom out. And now I'll take the scale tool, go back to frame 1. Don't do that over there at a separate frame, it'll mess it up. And maybe I could reduce the scale a little bit, but it's gonna mess this up, I think. Let me just see what happens. Maybe like that. I don't know, that looks worse. I think that's fine. That's hardly even an issue. I'm not even worried about it. One thing I can do is just go back into the file and adjust it, but it's really not a huge deal that there's a double line there. So what I'll do, now that I have that, I have to move the dog. So now that the dog is set in motion with the walk, the linear path, that will create a smooth, not a smooth, but a steady walk, so there's no slowdown at all. And I'll just go right here and the scene will cut right there. Now if I don't adjust this here and I leave it like that, that's considered a smooth keyframe curve. So the dog actually slows down until he gets to that point, and then he stops gradually. Now if I go linear, there's no slowdown. He just walks to that point on a constant pace, and that's what I want. Alright, so next thing I have to do is set the cameras. Well, there's only one camera, but I'll show how I set up the camera. So let's see, I do want to have like a pan down where the camera scrolls down. So now that I have this position where I have everything where I like it with the frame, let's see, I'll say 4 seconds to scroll down. So let me set a keyframe here. One way to do that is just click inside the image like that, and then the zoom I'll have adjusted as well. I'll just click right there. Now I'll start here, but this is going to be panned up a little bit, maybe right about there. So now I'll do a smooth scroll down. Well, actually, I think it should be more linear on the first movement. So I have to figure out how this is going to work. Like, I kind of want that to just start moving right away, so there's no pause. And then when you get there, it slows down. Like right there, it would slow down to stabilize instead of just stopping suddenly. So there's a ease in, a fade in. So one thing I could do, if I want this to start right away and not slow down and then start to move quicker, is to maybe get right about here. I'll keyframe this, add keyframe, and now I have to plan this out. I'll add a keyframe here, but now for the, well, maybe I should add one more, because sometimes it needs like a cushion for it to make this smooth here and then linear here. Alright, so let me add that keyframe there, and now I'll just pick these inner ones and do a linear. This might not work, but let's see. Alright, looks like it's starting right away. That's what I wanted. So that worked, and it's still going down towards the ground, and now I think it might, yeah, it slowed down. Alright, so let me just look at that really quick, and that's not going to give me too much of an indicator, but it did slow down at the end. The reason it's not a good indicator of how accurate the camera motion is because it's so choppy and it can't animate it smooth, because it's just not set up for that. It's more of a like the playback is just more of a test. It's not an accurate reading of the actual animation. Once you render it out, then you'll see what it actually looks like. Alright, so now that I have that shot, which I hope is okay, I'll test it out in the final frame. Let me zoom in here. now I'll just do a stagnant frame here, no motion for just a few seconds until they're both in frame. I'll say 4 seconds is good right there. So now I'll just copy paste the keyframe for the camera, and now I could zoom in and maybe scroll with these characters. Now I really do want to zoom in pretty close, so this might be an issue with the background if it's not sharp enough. Yeah, I might have to reconsider this scene. I don't think I can zoom in on this. So let me delete that. This will be the closest I could get, really. So really I can't do too much with it. Now that I've zoomed in, I have an idea. One thing I could do is scroll over to the dog, or I could just stay above ground level really close, almost like it's like a blur background. That usually works. And now that's moving there, and the rabbit will hop here like that. Now let's see how quick it takes for the dog to get within frame. Yeah, well, that's not too bad. But the dog is floating because the background's so blurry. So you'd want the camera to move over and move up. So let's say the rabbit just left the frame. I want to keyframe this, but now I want to have the camera move over. So by frame 13, I'll be over by the pug already. Like that. And now I just add a keyframe there. So let's see. Or I could just switch, but I think I'll just do this. And the pug will go in frame and out of frame like that. As soon as you get there, you might as well just cut the frame cut the shot, rather than just linger until the dog is fully out of view. It's just not interesting. In other words, if I had the camera stationary and then I go all the way until the dog is out of frame and then I cut it, I've noticed it's just not good editing. It's better to cut just a little bit earlier. As long as you have your motion established of what your whole point is, just cut right after that. If everything is where you need it to be to the next shot, as long as it's had a second or two or whatever you needed, depending on the situation. Like if the dog is walking, I don't want to linger the camera this far unless it's like the end of the movie or something. But here it's still in progress, this scene. So now that I have that camera frame established, I can zoom out, and now I can actually scroll with the animals if I want. But let's see. Yeah, that's definitely a problem here. I have to fix that. When I originally created this shot, that was like perfectly aligned, so I don't know what happened there. I'm just gonna delete that. That's not working at all there. this piece here, let's see, how's it look? Yeah, it looks like it's lined up right, but no, it's not. Looks like I cut that whole edge off when I was creating that layer, so that's gonna mess things up. What I could do is, like, if I try to edit it now that this is has already been established for the animation, if I create a new layer, it could mess up this whole background. But I might have to rescale it anyway, so it's not going to make too much of a difference based on this. Alright, so now I have, but that's just one of the technical issues that sometimes pops up. So now that I have this scene here, let's see, maybe I could scroll here and then go like this, and then by the time the dog is out of frame, maybe I would be right about here. Or I could go like this, scroll with the animals like that. I think that would be better. So let me stay right about here, zoom out just a little bit, right about there, and then those keyframes are set. I don't have to worry about whether they're smooth or not. Actually, for this I do. So this one, this could be linear. It's not gonna matter for this. Actually, this could be linear too. But no, I think I'll just leave it like that. Alright, so now this camera is going to scroll to the left. So I'm just going to move this over here. Like that. And that'll be it. It'll cut. He's not going to have to get to the edge there. We're just going to cut that scene and move on to the next one. But I'll have like atmosphere, like the zombies in the distance. For this scene here, I'll make it linear, so it's constantly in motion. See, it's already started moving, and I have to see if see how that rabbit enters the side of the building. That's totally messed up. I have to fix that. So as long as that doesn't slow down here, yeah, that doesn't slow down. See how it just stopped all of a sudden? So I'm just going to render this out, test it out, and see how all this looks. But thanks for watching, and then I have to fix this first, and then put it all together. And feel free to comment, subscribe, like, and share. City of Rott Pug will be a little mini series. I'll post a few or more episodes. It might be a number or just a few. I'm not sure yet. I'm still developing everything. But it's like a prequel to the City of Rott Otherworld, and it follows the pug dog in a small story that I've created for the dog, and how he ends up in the other world, because he is important in the other world, the film. He plays a small part, but he's still important to the story to a degree. But he's a supporting character in the main film. He's not a main character. But thanks again for watching, and of course I'll post more news as it arrives. Thanks.